Hey there, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Katie and this is Louisiana Cooking and Living, and we are happy that you are here with us if you are new to our channel. And today we are making the viral croissant bread. Look at this. Aren't you excited about this and trying it out? We made this a rosemary garlic. So if you want to follow along and make this for your family, we're just happy to have you, and let's just get baking. All right, we're going to go ahead and get our dough started. We're making this dough the night before, and it does sit for 12 to 18 hours. It is a no-knead Dutch oven bread, and we are going to turn this into the viral croissant bread. So for now, we need 3 cups of flour. I'm making 2 loaves, so I have 2 bowls here. So we'll need 3 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, a half a teaspoon of yeast, and 1.5 cups of warm water. Let me grab my cup measure for my flour. I went on and pulled out my bulk container of flour since I'm going to be using 6 cups total here. I buy the organic, unbleached, all-purpose flour from Costco. And I'm going to fluff up my flour in here before I measure out my 3 cups. Just dumping it right on in. This is a super easy recipe. This comes from the original recipe that I'm running off of here is from Becky at Acre Homestead on her scratchpantry.com blog, and I will leave that recipe linked in the description box. But we're going to turn this into that viral croissant bread. All right, so here's our 3 cups of flour in each bowl. And to this, we're going to be adding 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm using Redmond real salt here, mined here in Utah. If you'd like a link to this, I have a discount code in the description box for this also. So it's our 2 teaspoons of salt. We only need a half a teaspoon of yeast because this is sitting for the 12 to 18 hours. And I put a full teaspoon in there. Oh, we'll see if it makes a difference. We'll be our little test subject here. We'll do our half a teaspoon in this one. I can't really pull that out. And before I put the water in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flavor this. I have this roasted garlic granules from Azure Standard. I'll leave them linked in the description box also. They are a bulk delivery service that specializes in organic food products, but they also have like household goods, health and beauty stuff, stuff for your lawn and garden, stuff for canning, all kinds of stuff. But they are a delivery service, and it's a once a month thing. But I'll leave a link in the description box for them. Also, if you'd like to check their website out. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this in here, but this is roasted garlic that's so yummy. And then I'm also going to do some just crushed rosemary here, some dried rosemary. All right, and to this we're going to add 1.5 cups of warm water. So let me grab that. I'm just going to mix one at a time on this. I'm using my Danish dough whisk here. And you just do it till it's combined. It says like you're just going to make a shaggy dough. This is not a difficult thing here. We're not kneading this. We're just combining our ingredients. Sometimes I do find I need to add a little bit more water. It also depends on your humidity, how you measure out your flour, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to add just a tad bit more water here. I want it to come together a little bit. Just that warm water just makes that garlic and rosemary just blossom in here. It smells so good. Have you seen that viral croissant dough or bread? I've made it once and it was so good. Made it so flaky and just yummy. Buttery, crispy. you tried it. Hopefully this will inspire you to try it. So let me grab a cup and a half of warm water here. And give this a stir. All right, it's that easy, and we're gonna let this sit covered on the counter for about 12 hours. I like to just go in and just kind of make it a little bit of a ball. I'm not really kneading it, but just kind of helping it along. All right. Let me get some towels, and we're going to cover this. I'm going to wash my hands first and get all this dough off my hands. All right, I'm just going to move all my stuff over here. We'll clean this up in a minute, but I'm just going to move my 2 bowls here. We're going to cover them up, and they will sit on the counter until we come back tomorrow. And so we'll see you back tomorrow when it's time to make this into the croissant bread. So exciting. So we'll see you back. All right, we are ready to move on to the next step. This has been sitting here for about 15 hours. I did end up putting a little bit of oil or olive oil on here and just kind of coating it because it was kind of getting a little dried out in some places. So what we're going to do first is we're going to grate our butter. I did stick my butter in the freezer. This is a 2-stick stick of butter, so I would use 1 stick per loaf if you're just doing 1 loaf. So we're going to grate this up, and I just put it in the freezer about an hour ago just to get it firm to make it easier to grate. This little piece of wrapper. All right, we're just going to grate this up. All right, so that's all of our butter. I might get a little bit of flour to flour my surface here. All right, we're going to take our first dough. Oh, I smell that rosemary and that garlic. We're going to smash this out into a rectangle. And we are going to sprinkle about 1/4 of this on here. Or 1/2 of your stick if you're only doing 1 loaf. And then we're going to fold this over. And then we're going to sprinkle the rest along here. And then we're going to roll this up. Keep tucking that butter in. And then we're going to kind of form it into our ball. You just kind of tuck under and turn at the same time. And that forms our ball here. All right, and I'm going to get a piece of parchment paper. We're going to set this back in our bowl. We're going to set our ball down here. And let's work on our next one. Now this is the one that had the more yeast in it. On accident, I put double yeast. I feel like this one actually rose more than the first one, the one that had the double yeast. I'm not sure how that happened, but it could just look like that because the bowl was bigger. I don't know. But either way, they worked out fine. All right, we're going to smash this out flat into our rectangle. Cannot wait to try this. It smells so good. All right. Sprinkle our butter on. Not only will this butter make it buttery and crispy, it'll, as it melts, it'll make little steam pockets in our dough. All right, let's fold this over into thirds. And then sprinkle the rest of our butter on here. Use a good tasting, good quality butter here because you're going to be, this is something you will be tasting your butter in, and you want it to taste good. I don't want to waste any of this butter, so try and get as much off as I can. There we go. So we're going to form this dough, and then we're going to let these sit for about another hour, just to kind of let them puff up again. And then we will preheat our Dutch ovens in the oven. I think it's on 400 degrees. All right, let's roll this one up. Don't lose that butter. Let's form our ball. Just tuck and turn, and you can see all the little lumps and bumps of all that butter. And this bread, if you remember, we did not knead this bread at all. This bread is super easy to make. It's just making sure you start it the night before. Another parchment. We'll put this down in here. I'm going to cover these, and we're going to let these sit for about an hour, and then we'll come back and get our Dutch ovens into the oven. So our Dutch ovens have been heating in our oven, and actually it's 450 degrees, not 400 degrees. So they've been heating in the oven for about 30 minutes. We'll pull these out. I like to leave a hot pad on here just to remind me that these are screaming hot. So what I'm going to do is, should have done this before I pulled these out. Let's see if I can move them over a little bit without burning myself. So you can see what I'm doing. So I have my dough here, and what I'm going to do is, I just have a little razor blade. You could use a really sharp knife, and I'm going to score it. And I'm just going to do maybe like an X in the top. Ooh, I touched it. Like that. I'm going to do both of these that way. You could do a little pretty design if you wanted to. So we're just going to pick it up, parchment and all. We'll stick this down in here. Put our lid back on. Same with the other one. You'll see there's a well, you can't see it. Let me turn this. I have a little hole crack in my enamel on this cast iron enamel Dutch oven from Lodge, and we contacted them and they sent me one for free. So good customer service there, and I just use this for making bread because my food is not coming into contact with that little spot, and I'm not putting any liquid down in here to get underneath that enamel. Just save this Dutch oven, and I have a second one to make bread with. All right, we're gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes, and we will take it out and remove the lid, and then bake it for another 10 minutes after that. All right, we'll set the timer, and we will see you back. Alrighty, let's take these out. You can already see all the little flaky layers here. Smell all the garlic and the rosemary. Alright, we're going to slice these and give it a little taste test. Alright, so our bread is out of the oven. It is still warm. And you can hear the crunch of that bread. It's going to be so yummy and tasty. Let's give this a slice. Now the rules are you're supposed to wait an hour to slice into your bread, but I just can't wait to slice into this and try it all warm and buttery and yummy. So let's give this a slice. We're going to go right down the middle. Kind of like wait an hour to try your brownies. It just doesn't happen in real life. All right, let's get a look at this bread. Ooh, it's so hot. Look at all the fluffiness in there, all the buttery goodness. Oh, it's hot. All right, we're gonna give this a taste. And I'm actually going to add just a tad a little more butter on here. Like there wasn't already enough, right? All right, let's give this a try. All right, so here we go. My husband's off screen here, and he's going to try it too. That is flaky and crispy and rosemary-y. It just is flaking off. What do you think?
It's crispy and flaky like a croissant, but it's not dry like a croissant. Very good.
It's so good. We're going to be having this with chicken parmesan tonight, and I have made that for you guys. If you haven't ever seen my chicken parmesan video, I will leave that linked in the cards above. And I hope that you follow along. If you have not subscribed already, I will leave my little subscription logo here that you can touch that. And I'll leave some other videos over here that you can watch if you want to follow along. So we'll see you next time, and hopefully you can make this bread. It is so yummy. Oh.